Arcnora? Discover. Question. Wonder. What if everything you thought you knew about the universe was a lie? Long before Zeus hurled his first lightning bolt, before the gods ruled from Mount Olympus, there was something far older, something ancient, infinite, and terrifying. They called it chaos. But what was chaos really? A myth, a metaphor, or something we were never meant to understand? In the beginning, according to the ancient Greeks, there was no heaven, no earth, no gods. There was only chaos. Not chaos as in disorder, but chaos as a yawning void, as a silent, limitless chasm, an existence of non-existence, eerie nothingness that birthed all of reality. From chaos, the first primordial beings emerged. Not gods as we know them, but forces. Concepts that would shape everything that came after. The first was Gaia, Earth itself. Not a planet, but a living, breathing foundation of life. Then came Tartarus, a deep abyss, even darker than chaos. A prison for the unspeakable. And Eros, the force of attraction. Not love in the romantic sense, but the mysterious pull that causes atoms to bind, stars to form, and life to begin. These weren't stories made to entertain children. These were early attempts to explain the fabric of reality. The Greeks didn't separate mythology from science. To them, myth was a science of the soul. But here's where it gets even stranger. The next beings to emerge were Erebus, darkness, and Nyx, night. Together they gave birth to things like Moros, Hypnos, Thanatos, and the Moirai, the Fates, who decided how long each life would last. Think about it. Before gods, before light, even before time, there were only void, night, death, and fate. It paints a picture not of creation, but of control. From the very beginning, the universe wasn't free. It was programmed, it was fated. Does that sound like mythology to you, or like a simulation? As Gaia awakened, she birthed Uranus, the sky. Not as a separate entity, but as her equal and opposite. Above to her below. Together, they created the Titans, Cyclopes, and other monstrous beings, but Uranus feared his children. He began to imprison them inside Gaia herself, locking them in the depths of Tartarus. Let that sink in. The first act of divine creation was rejection, fear, control, and Gaia, she had enough. She forged a blade and gave it to her son Cronos, the youngest Titan. One night, as Uranus descended to cover the earth, Cronos struck. He castrated the sky. That wasn't just violence, it was revolution, a cosmic rebellion against oppression. But what if this story is not just about gods? What if it's about cycles? Power, fear, rebellion, control, and then silence again, just like the void they came from. Now here's where things get even more disturbing. From the blood of Uranus, more beings were born. The giants, the Furies, and Aphrodite, the goddess of love, emerged from the sea foam created by his severed flesh. That's right. The goddess we associate with beauty, desire, and romance was literally born from mutilation. Makes you question everything you think you know about mythology, doesn't it? Or maybe it was never meant to be beautiful. Maybe it was meant to be a warning. In all of these stories, we're not told of kindness. There's no forgiveness. There's only force, control, dominance, and ancient rules that even the gods cannot break. And above all of it, chaos remains, unmoved, unchallenged, because in the end, chaos isn't just the beginning of the world. It's what the world returns to when everything ends, a black, yawning silence, and perhaps it's where we're all heading, again. If this journey into the forgotten past has made you question everything, if you're still watching, it's because you're one of the curious ones, just like us. So consider subscribing to Arcnora and help us uncover even more secrets lost to time. The more of us that search, the closer we get to the truth. Cronos had overthrown the sky. He was now the ruler of all existence. But even in victory, he was haunted. Before Uranus was cast down, he whispered a curse, that Cronos, like him, would one day be betrayed by his own child. And so, the cycle began again. Cronos took power, but not with peace. He ruled with time. because Cronos didn't just symbolize a name. He was time itself, and time is unforgiving. Time devours everything, including its own children. When his wife Rhea began to give birth, Cronos remembered the curse. One by one, he swallowed his newborns: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. Gone, consumed by fear, swallowed whole by time. But then came Zeus, and Rhea had had enough. She couldn't bear to lose another child to the tyranny of time, so she tricked Cronos. She wrapped a stone in cloth and gave it to him instead. Cronos, blind with paranoia, swallowed it, and Zeus was hidden away, growing in secret. When Zeus came of age, he returned not as a child, but as a force. Armed with cunning and fury, he forced Cronos to vomit out his siblings, now fully grown. And together, they declared war, not just against their father, but against an entire generation of beings, the Titans, and it was cataclysmic. For 10 years, the earth shook, the skies thundered, and reality itself fractured. This wasn't just a family feud. It was a war between cosmic ages, between chaos and order, between the old world and the new. But pause for a moment. Why would this story exist in so many cultures? The idea of a younger generation overthrowing an older one appears again and again. In Norse mythology, in Sumerian tablets, in Egyptian hieroglyphs, what were they trying to tell us? Is this just myth? Or are we seeing fragments of a forgotten truth? Perhaps one we're not supposed to remember. The war reached its climax when Zeus, with the help of the Cyclopes, unleashed the ultimate weapons: the thunderbolt, the trident, and the helm of darkness. With these, the Olympians defeated the Titans and locked them away in the depths of Tartarus, the very abyss born from chaos. And just like that, the age of the Olympians began. A new pantheon, a new world order. But even this victory was not without cost. Zeus, now the king of the gods, divided the world with his brothers. Poseidon took the sea, Hades took the underworld, and Zeus took the sky. Earth, Gaia, was left unclaimed, passed between them, wounded from centuries of divine war. She had given birth to everything, and received nothing. And here's where the pattern reveals itself again. Power seized, fear awakened, balance disrupted. And in every step, chaos watches silently, because the truth hidden beneath these myths is uncomfortable. Every god is eventually replaced. Every era collapses into the void that gave it life. Even the gods fear chaos, because it is the one thing they can never control. Many believe these stories are symbolic. Allegories for human emotions, social orders, the rise and fall of empires. But what if they're not? What if the Greeks weren't imagining the gods? They were remembering them. What if our ancestors weren't telling us fables, but warnings? Take the figure of Cronos again, the devouring father, the embodiment of time. Some scholars suggest that the image of Cronos, consuming his children, is more than a metaphor. It's a cosmic truth. Time inevitably consumes all of creation, civilizations, knowledge, even memory. That no matter how powerful, no matter how divine, everything returns to the void. In modern times, physicists speak of entropy, the gradual decline of order into chaos. Speak of heat death, the end of the universe in absolute silence and darkness. An idea the ancient Greeks may have already understood in myth. So maybe chaos isn't just a mythological past. Maybe it's a future. Maybe we're living in one of countless cycles, universes created, gods born, wars fought, and everything swallowed again by the void, until it all begins anew. And maybe that cycle is happening right now. In the myth, the Fates, daughters of night, control the thread of every life. They weave, measure, and cut. Even Zeus, with all his power, could not stop them. That's the most terrifying part. Not the gods, not the Titans, but the idea that above all of them, there are forces that control even the divine. Forces that no one sees, that no one remembers, except maybe the myths. So the next time you hear a tale of ancient gods and cosmic battles, ask yourself, is this just a story or a forgotten memory from a time before time? Because in the end, long before the gods, long before the stars, there was chaos. And chaos is patient. If this journey into the origins of reality made you question what's real, what's myth, and what's been buried by time, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Arcnora and keep exploring the lost layers of history with us. There's so much more waiting to be uncovered.